Hello everybody, my name is Neil Bruce, welcome back to the channel. Today, courtesy of this comment from none other than Susan Boyle, we're going to be talking about how you should be revising for your accounting and finance exams. We're going to first run through exactly how it was that I was revising for my exams, then we're going to run through what the research suggests you should do, and then finally we're going to finish off with some extra tips and advice from myself, including some motivational words of wisdom to help you along the way. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first off, as I said, how I revised for my exams. I personally graduated 6 months ago now. I was studying accounting and finance at the University of Dundee, and the way that I revised was a 4-step method which we'll run through now. The first step of which was writing down word for word the notes that we were given by our lecturers, and I did this on an app called Notion. If you don't know about Notion, I'd highly recommend using it. It's a great note-taking app, and there's plenty of information you can find online to help you use it. The second thing that I did was take those notes and then write them down on a piece of paper. The third thing that I did was then past paper exams, and I didn't do past papers normally. I would look at the answers and then try and answer the question, and somehow that was how my brain would work it out. I'd kind of amalgamate the answer and how I would go about doing it, make sure I was getting there correctly, and then somehow formulate that into how I was supposed to do the exams themselves. And then the fourth step was literally just repeating that. I would just look at the exam questions, look at the answers, try and answer them open book every single time. I wouldn't try and do these questions without my notes in front of me. So as you can tell by all of this, my methodology was not great. But where the shortfalls lay for myself may be an opportunity for you to see where I was going wrong and what I could have done to improve on this. The one positive thing that I was doing when revising for my exams, which kind of helped quite a lot, was the fact that I was doing the Pomodoro Technique. And I've made videos on this before, but they are all absolutely terrible, so I'll briefly run over this just now. Essentially, I would revise for 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break. Revise for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. And this allows your brain to kind of have that focus time without getting totally fatigued. This helped me tremendously because it meant that I could take 5 minutes, go and speak to someone or get some water. Very useful to get some water when you're revising as well. But yeah, that's just kind of how my brain works, because after 25 minutes I wouldn't really be taking anything in. My brain kind of has quite a short attention span in that sense, so regular breaks were really key for me. So what does the research suggest you should be doing that I clearly didn't? And the number one thing that comes up when you Google how should I be revising for exams is suggesting active recall. So what is active recall? It's essentially where when you're learning something new, you take down the notes for the first time and then you put them away completely and you try and test yourself immediately on this new information. Then if you get stuff wrong, which you obviously will, you can then go back to the information again and then test yourself again closed book completely. And this is completely different to how my methodologies were going when I was at university. I think this can be really useful when you're revising for accounting and finance, and you can use active recall incredibly effectively when it comes to learning quotes for essays that you're writing or learning formulas that aren't going to be in the formula list when you're doing your exams. Another thing that the internet suggests that you should do, which is something that I deeply regret not doing, is doing mock exams 2 times before doing the exam themselves. This can be absolutely crucial for you so that you can work out how long it's going to take you to do different sections of the exams. So when it comes to accounting and finance in particular, a lot of the exams that I were sitting had a section A and a section B. Section A tended to be for the mathematics side of things, and section B was a couple of essays. And what you can do by doing a mock exam to time, you can try and work out how long it takes you to do each section roughly, and therefore it'll allow you to kind of be more strategic with how you're going into an exam. Obviously for some people it's going to take them longer to do the maths and they'll find essays easier, other people vice versa. So it's really good to work out which kind of person you are and work out how long you're going to need to give yourself for each mark for each section in these exams. It's also really useful to do these practice exams closed book so you can work out what areas you have gaps in your knowledge. Because if you're going in to do mock exams and you've just got your notes in front of you, then obviously when you get into the real exam you're not going to have that, unless you're still in COVID lockdown, in which case, slight godsend, we got to use our notes for our exams. So on to some general exam tips when it comes to revision season, and my number one tip is, as I've already mentioned, stay hydrated. It's so important for the brain. You can get so much more out of a revision session if you're hydrated rather than not, because your brain literally has more oxygen in it, therefore more good blood flow, more good things happening, better memory, and definitely better performance. Number two would definitely be a regular exercise schedule throughout exam periods as well. There's a lot of research that suggests that doing some exercise in between exam studying periods can be great because it allows for, again, more blood flow to the head, therefore your brain acting better, and therefore that can be so beneficial. And also just for well-being in general, I think just getting some exercise in, getting outside for a jog or something, you know, you're experiencing the outside air. It's going to be way more fun if you're kind of incorporating it in with going outside. Studying is very boring if you just sit at your desk the entire time, don't move and don't go outside. And number three, the most important of them all, is definitely to have a regular sleep schedule when studying. If you get to the final exam day and you've been up till 4 AM studying because you're cramming, or because you've literally just had that as your sleep schedule running up to the exam because you're trying to get so much in, it's not going to work. You're going to have a 9 AM exam, you're going to have had 4 hours of sleep, and you're going to fail. So please, please, if you take one thing away from this video, is to make sure that you've got a regular sleep schedule running up to the exam. Go to sleep at a sensible time, get up at a sensible time, and fit the revision in amongst that. So guys, I think that brings us to a close today. If there's anything you want to see from me, accounting and finance university related, please leave a comment down below and I'll make sure to make a video about it so that I can help you guys as best as I can. That's the whole point of this stuff, is to make sure that my experience can be used so that you guys get through your university experience as best as you can. So I hope you enjoyed watching this one. I hope it helps you out when it does come to your exam period. Good luck in your exams when you get there, and I hope you have an excellent week, and I'll see you next Monday at 6 PM. Cheers guys!